Welcome back to the Entertainment Fix. Now, I am excited to speak to my next guest. I don't know if they remember, but they've been on this show before. They actually sang Happy Birthday to me 3 years ago when I was 17 years old, and this person was the first celebrity guest I have ever interviewed. So let's say hello to Paul Daniels. Hello.
Hello there.
How are you doing?
How the devil are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm all right. You were saying a next guest.
Well, yeah, you've been on the show before. You actually sang Happy Birthday to me. I was 17 years old, and you were the first person I ever interviewed.
Really?
And since then...
Is this why I named my grandson Lewis? I asked.
How old's Lewis?
14.
Oh, no, maybe not. But...
Maybe not.
No, yeah, and since then we've had 350 guests, so you kind of started it all for me.
It's all my fault.
But how are you doing? I mean, now you're here promoting your farewell tour.
My first farewell
Your first
tour.
farewell tour. It's quite...
Yeah.
You're not retiring.
I thought myself, if it was good enough for the Stones every year to do a farewell tour, it's time I had one.
But you're not planning to retire?
No, not really. I just every year try to come up with a silly title for the show. And I think next year it might well be the Debbie McGee Shoe Fund Tour.
Shoe Fund Tour. And I mean, it's quite a big tour as well. You're going all across the country, but we're lucky enough to get you down here in Cornwall. Is this a place that you like performing in?
I love Cornwall. It was the scene of my very first ever professional summer season in Newquay, and so and I have friends down there, and I just love the place. Yeah.
And I mean, are you excited about this tour? Is it quite an intimate tour than what you've done before? Would you say?
Intimate. Oh, I do love a bit of intimate. No. What it is what's made it more than exciting is that all the material has not been in previous tours.
So it's all fresh.
All of it. So it's kind of. You might well catch me looking into the wings to see which prop is ready next, because whereas before I knew the last tours intimately, this one being all new, I keep thinking, Debbie's going to come on, what do I do after that? Yeah. but yeah, it's fun.
I mean, well, you're performing at a wonderful theatre in Falmouth, the Princess Pavilion. It's such a lovely place, and that's going to be on Thursday the 10th. October.
Yeah, what I do is I wake up in the morning, look at the diary and go, oh, hell, right.
But, well,
it's a comedy-based family show in that it's clean, but it's very, very funny. And we've had guys coming to this tour already, because we've been right up to Scotland already, and saying that they follow stand-up comedians, and our show was funnier. Now, there's me desperately trying to be an international symbol, and saying I'm funny. It's not fair.
Now, but since we've last spoken to you, you've done quite a lot. I mean, obviously, one of the biggest things back in 2010 was obviously participating in Strictly Come Dancing, one of the biggest entertainment shows on the scene at the moment.
Yeah, well, I've never danced, so I thought I'd give it a go. And then I realised I was up against all these people who had. And some of them had even won medals for it.
So...
Hey, I think it should be like golf. It should be handicapped.
But you've done very well. I mean, you did 3 dances, and you were very entertaining.
I knew I really couldn't go much further than that because I had bookings.
So you couldn't do any more?
Terrible, isn't it? And one of the oddities about the show is, of course, they set you up a bit. You know, can you take the mickey out of this? Say one set. So you do. And then the judges take the mickey out of you taking the mickey, which is, you go around in circles, really. But it's a great show to be on.
Well, I mean, people like Sir Bruce Forsyth, I mean, you're both kind of very similar. I mean, you've worked in the industry for a long time, but I can't see either of you retiring because entertainment seems to be in your blood. I mean, it's something that you do quite naturally. Now...
Yeah. I think one of the problems, and I've watched, of course, a lot of the criticisms of Brucey, is that for year upon year upon year upon year, Brucey's been a bloody good solo act. And suddenly, for some weird reason, some executive decides he has to have a female standing next to him interfering with his timing. And as a timer, watching him, I can recognise, well, Brucey, you wanted to say something there, and he couldn't, It's a bit off-putting for the lad.
But I mean, going back to that, did you ever expect when you... did it kind of all start off on Opportunity Knocks for you, kind of our version now of Britain's Got Talent back in 1970, is that correct?
No, I got a letter saying I would come second on that, and I did. I've never really trusted television phone-ins since, but it's it was Will Tappers and Shunters Club, Saturday night prime time, that did it for me.
And did you ever expect from there that you'd still be, I mean, back here in 2013, doing, a big tour that a lot of people are kind of going to see? Did you ever expect your career to last as long like it is now?
Well, no, because I never expected anything. I'm not a person who looks forward to something in case I'm disappointed. I just enjoy today, what's happening now. And I was at a dinner last night, and we were sitting around the table discussing the fact that most of us were over 60, and none of us expected to feel like this in our lifetimes, because all your young education is, you get past 45, you're decrepit. And now, my mum's 97, still living on her own in a bungalow, Times have changed enormously with regard to age.
And what advice would you give to people kind of starting out? Because, I mean, I've done this now, I spoke to you you were one of the first people I've interviewed, but I've done this now for 4 years, since 16. I'm now 20. What kind of advice would you give to other people who want to pursue a career, but a serious career? I mean, not making it on a reality show or anything like that, who want to...
No, seriously. I would suggest, seriously, that you take business studies as well as all the theatrical studies you can get into, because this is show business. So many of them fall by the wayside because they haven't got a planned business plan, and they don't handle the money properly. They don't save for the future, for the dark times. And so I would say, really get yourself a good business plan.
That's great advice there. My next question, I kind of don't want to ask, because you must have been asked this so many times, but I kind of want to hear from you. I mean, in August 2011, it made the front page of some papers. A certain puppet left you dazed.
No, it didn't. What happened was, at the end of that series, Sooty's pizza van threw a pizza at everybody who was on the show, every week. And they did it with me, and I got a bit in my eye. And on the way home, I said to Debbie, oh, look, there's a little village hospital, call in there. And so we went in there, and the nurse said, this will sting for 10 seconds, and then it'll be all over. And it was. And I even drove the car home myself. And then about 2 months later, some journalists got their hands on it, and it was blown up out of all proportion. And I didn't care, because it happened on our opening night at the Edinburgh Fringe, and we did fabulous business.
So it worked in your favour?
So, yeah. Hey, come on, Sooty. Sweep. Hit me with something else, yeah.
So that, because when I saw that, I mean, like you said, it made all the papers, it was all over the internet, and it kind of, like you said, it was made this big thing, and I mean, I thought you had quite a serious injury.
It was August. All the newspapers are full of rubbish in August. They're full of rubbish all the time, but particularly in August, yeah.
So obviously you've got your great upcoming projects. It must be something that you're, very excited about. You're performing in some amazing theatres.
Yeah, it's a good tour. It's grown because after we set off, the Twitter and Facebook reviews were so good, so strong, that other theatres have phoned up and said, can we have him? Debbie is doing 3 or 4 items in it as an independent, and it's I'm really pleased with the structure of this show. It works well. And in the middle of it, I'm off to do some shows in Denmark, and then towards the end of it, Debbie goes into pantomime, so we pause a while, and then after Christmas, we start it again. It's really good.
I was going to ask you, what can we expect from this tour? But you've already said that there's going to be a lot, well, all of it new, new stuff that we've not seen before. So I mean, that's quite unique, because very rarely can you go to a show and see something completely new.
Yeah, there's two illusions that we did about 20 odd years ago on television only, and I think that they're so strong that they'll work now. People won't remember them.
Well, Paul,
even I don't remember them.
Once again, it's been amazing having you on. Like I said, you were the first person I ever interviewed, and I remember I was so excited. I was going, Mum, I've just interviewed Paul Daniels, and I mean, it done very well online. So, like I said, thank you so much for joining me again.
Look at the difference. Now you couldn't care less.
Of course I do. So you're going to be at Falmouth Princess Pavilion Thursday, the 10th of October, and that's where we can come and see you local here in Penzance.
I'm not kidding when I say I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Well, I'm going to be there myself, so it'd be good to come and say hello.
No heckling.
Paul, thank you so much for joining me on the show again.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye for now.